not like that. Welcome to MrMidasGames. Thank you so much for joining me. You could have been anywhere in the world right now, but you are with me and I appreciate it. Now, I have done it. I have platinumed Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, those words are crazy even coming out of my mind. Like, to think I've completed a game that has been hugely part of my life for the last how long. That I've completed a game that has been one of the most important titles in my life. Not just as a video game presenter, just as a human being. Like, it's dope how much that game has affected me. Now, the platinum was not easy. Oh my god, them pull-ups, those pull-ups was doing my head in. But I was thinking to myself, is this the best Final Fantasy game ever?
But wait, what do you mean by best? Best is subjective. It's a matter of opinion. What are you talking about? Best. Can't stand people like you.
Oh my god!
Okay, calm down. You trolls always getting so vexed. Something that is close as possible to what you want. What is the closest thing that I would ever want for a Final Fantasy game? Throw that away. So we're gonna have a look back at my experience in Final Fantasy games and see if I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is the best Final Fantasy game ever. So I am a huge gamer, worked in the gaming industry for about 5 years, and one of the games that has always been prominent in my life is Final Fantasy VII. Now, Final Fantasy VII is the game that I always honor as the title that made me a hardcore gamer. So Final Fantasy VII released in September 1997 and it took the world by storm on the original PlayStation. Now, what I really liked was the backgrounds. The 3D rendered backgrounds that they had really showcased the power of the PlayStation. Looked incredible and it really showed depth. And the train sequence came and you see Cloud. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy looks sick. And Cloud is still today one of my favorite video game protagonists ever. Like, I think his design is super cool. Now, Final Fantasy VII has one of the best intros in a game. Like, it takes you straight into the action. It shows you how cool our initial protagonist is, and it just sets up a story in an incredible way. And I feel like Final Fantasy VII has the best characters out of the series so far. We're talking Cloud. Come on, man, Cloud, I could talk about him all day. Tifa, man, she's strong. She represents like how strong women can be. I love that the female protagonist was the fighter. She's hot, although you couldn't tell that when she was a block. Barrett was the gruff black man. It was great to be able to see a black character who was playable when I was so young, because I wasn't even used to seeing that. Aerith was like so adorable. The girl next door really draws you out, and this game just made you get lost. You got lost in a narrative, you got lost in fights, and it really made you feel powerful. Now, Final Fantasy VII is definitely going to be up there in my top, but let's see if it makes number one. So let's talk Final Fantasy VIII. Now, Final Fantasy VIII released in 1999 and there was so much expectation for this game, so much anticipation. It was out the roof after the success of what FF7 did for Western audiences, for JRPGs in general. People were so excited to find out what the next installment in the FF series would be. Final Fantasy VIII led with a brand new protagonist, Squall. The game was graphically stunning at the time, and the characters had 3D sprites which looked amazing in both gameplay and fight scenes. The music was so incredible, like it was proper up there. Like the soundtrack fully bangs, fam. Now Final Fantasy is all about story and characters, and for me personally this is where 8 under delivers. Although Squall looks super cool, I can't lie, he's kinda dry still. I'm talking hella dry, like dry toast. I also feel like the cast is probably the least memorable in the series, and I wasn't blown away by the lead female, Rinoa, and I don't even remember anything too much about the blonde kid antagonist, Cypher. Like, really doesn't grab me when it comes to characters. I tell you one thing that was really memorable in this game was the ballroom scene. I think the ballroom scene is beautiful, it's artistic, it's done really well. Oh, and let's not forget the gunblade. The gunblade was one of the best weapons in a Final Fantasy game. Not quite the Buster Sword, but the design and the look was really sick. It wasn't very practical, like it's a gun but it's a sword, but really cool looking. Now Final Fantasy VIII is beloved by many, and I know loads of you are shouting at the screen right now like, what do you mean this is my favorite in the series? But it just doesn't grab me. It's not a memorable enough title, not the characters, not the story. The best thing for me was the visuals. This is what I thought Final Fantasy VII was going to look like, but yeah, it just doesn't blow me away. So Final Fantasy VIII is definitely not going to be in my top 5. Now Final Fantasy IX is beloved by both the media and the public when it was released in 2000. Now Final Fantasy IX's design choices were inspired by the public who really missed the 2D sprite based look from FF1 to FF6 and didn't love the new 3D direction that started with Final Fantasy VII. They therefore pushed for the 2D art style. Now this art aesthetic weren't really doing it for me, so I never played Final Fantasy IX till this year on a Nintendo Switch. Now FF9 is a dope title. Firstly, I really like the protagonist, Zidane. He was probably the first protagonist in the series to be really witty, bubbly, and not the moody characters that I was used to from FF7 and 8. Considering I only played Final Fantasy IX this year, the game's graphics hold up so well. Like, the game looks gorgeous on the Nintendo Switch, and the story is really tragic. Like, I feel like in all FF games there's always some kind of tragedy, but 9 takes it to another level. 9 takes it to a whole nother plateau. And if we're going to talk tragedy, we have to talk Vivi. Like, this character was not human and was probably the most human character within the series. Like, the amount of loss and the not knowing really is relatable and kind of hits you deep. Now, it took me so long to play this title. I feel like it hasn't connected with me like the older Final Fantasies because I don't have that nostalgia like I do for 7, like I do for 10. But this is a really good title in the series, and it's one that I definitely recommend that you play today. Now Final Fantasy X. Oh my goodness, I love Final Fantasy X. This is my game, but you're gonna have to wait for the next episode to find out my thoughts on why I love Final Fantasy X so much. Now, thank you again for spending your time with me. I super appreciate you. Please give this video a like. It means a lot to me. And come on, be part of the team, be part of the gang. Support me. Make sure you subscribe. I need you, man. I need you. I want to know, what's your Final Fantasy history? What's your favorite Final Fantasy game? What Final Fantasy game did you start with? And do you think Final Fantasy 7 Remake is the best Final Fantasy game ever. Now, I've been Mr. Midas. Thank you again for joining me. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe and look out for part 2, where we continue to explore if Final Fantasy 7 Remake is the best Final Fantasy game ever.